think. If you can see us, we're on.
We back? Are we gonna do it again?
We're gonna do it again. Let's run it back.
Jack?
I think that's what you're saying. Let's run it back. Let's do it again.
Welcome to the championship edition of the LOGJAM, everybody. Darren, how we doing?
We're doing very well. I'd be doing better if I had a roster like Mr. Gary and yourself, but that's not the case until next year. And doing all right, man. How about yourself?
Feeling pretty good, man. Felt lucky to get through the Zoros. Always a tough opponent. It's a familiar feeling, a little bit of doom, not a lot of success in matchups like this in Avengers history. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I can see that the history can make you a little bit nervous, but everyone's different. So we'll just roll the ball out there, so to speak, and see how it goes.
Yeah, that's why they don't play games on paper. They play them inside those little TV sets.
We do play games on paper like tic-tac-toe.
Oh.
And there are games played on paper.
The dot game is great too.
There are games played on paper.
Good time. Well, without any further ado, let's get to last week's games. The semifinal matchups. Windy City Scoregasms and the Fury. Windy City takes them down 152 to 133.
Yeah, this was a big number game. I mean, 133 for Fury wasn't enough to win. When overall, that would probably win you most weeks. But when you're facing the Windy City Scoregasms, you better bring 140, 150, and then hope that Christian McCaffrey was drunk at the bar last night at some Irish pub,
And in this case, 153. This is the 7th matchup in the history of these two teams, including one playoff matchup 2 years ago and 5 regular season matchups. The Fury was 6-0.
This is the first time that Gary has beat the Fury. So he gets that monkey off the back, so to speak, like Steve Young, get it off my back. And congratulations, Gary.
The win comes from the usual spots: CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, the people that you expect both score 28.
Yep.
Ironically, didn't have another guy really above 20, but had a bunch of guys that were above the Mendoza line. Gets him to 152, really coast to the win. Monroe St. Brown and T. Higgins had great nights. They had 60 of his 33 points, almost 46% of his points. The Jordan Addison injury hurts Fury there, 1.2. On the other side, you even had Jalen Waller going out after only 6 points.
Yeah, the injury bug got him.
But turned out not to matter. The Scoregasm just had too much firepower in the first matchup. Matchup number 2, talked about it before. The Avengers take care of Zoros 129 to 108.
And 108 is not going to win you a lot of matchups, especially probably in the playoffs when you're playing teams with stacked rosters. Although on the other side, 129 might not necessarily win you a lot. And I talked about this last week on the podcast. I expected big numbers out of this matchup because these two organizations usually put up big numbers. Wasn't the case here, but congratulations, Tom. Was enough to get you to your 9th final.
Yep.
Jesus.
1-7 so far in those tournaments. Not awesome. The Avengers getting points from where you'd expect them. Steph Diggs not having a fantastic night. Nothing really spectacular. Justin Jefferson coming back was great. At one point, the Khalil Herbert non-start and the New England Patriots non-start, leaving those 24 points on the bench felt like it could have maybe made a difference. But the Zoros kind of sputtered, coming in 7 players with 11 points or less this week.
Very on Joel. By the way, just you talking about Khalil Herbert. Do you know who Bobby Hebert is?
I do.
Okay. Does he not spell his name the exact same fucking way?
Yeah, but he's French-Canadian. The Quebecois, there's no T. Hebert. Hebert, Bobby Hebert.
The English language.
He actually he's French-Canadian through New Orleans. I believe he was a Cajun, but with that Creole influence and the T's they don't say in them.
And then there's the guy who plays quarterback for the Chargers.
Justin, also Herbert. Or is he Hebert? He's Herbert.
This is what I'm saying. Figure it out. Like, just make it easier for me. I'm trying to do a podcast here and get it right.
It's a tough language, buddy. It's a tough language.
Spell it the same way. Just fucking pronounce it the same way.
All right, well, the Zoros can't feel too bad. They've got 11 picks in the first 2 rounds of next year's draft.
Wow.
So they got a chance to play through there going.
I'm sure he would trade those picks for a win last week, but good luck next year, Joel. You did great this year. You're my manager of the year. As far as the way things went down. So
Yeah, congratulations there.
I know it doesn't make you feel any better.
The next two matchups, the old switcheroo dunkaroo. What you thought you saw happen was not what happened. In fairness, they're a little bit busy this year. Text the executive council, if you will. Hey, does this look right? Tom looked it over. Mike Oxenfire looked it over. They both approved it. I was out of commission. I didn't even get a chance to look. I did.
Half of you probably didn't even notice.
I don't think anyone did. It didn't come up until after the games. Joel, as he so astutely did, pointed out that the two teams should have come down in pigtails.
Yep.
The only team eventually that affected negatively was Who's Your Daddy, and they were the first one to suggest, hey, let's do it how the book says, let's do it right. So we're going to pretend those matchups happened how they should have happened, and we're going to tell you a little bit about the Poway Titans beating your mom's pimp 129 to 108.
Yeah, well, huge day for him from Mike Evans and Derrick Henry, who he traded for. That was enough to get him. The guy had some shitty luck all year as far as scoring all those points, but after you don't make the playoffs, what's the goal, right? The goal is to get the number one pick, and that's what that trade right there really helped him in this matchup move up to the option of playing Merci next week for the number one.
Yeah, did Icarus flew a little too close to the sun, tried to start Brock Purdy for a second week ahead of Lamar and Tua Cotson this week. Purdy only 2.4, Lamar with a big game there on the bench. On the pin side, Jake Elliott, your MVP with 17. Never a good sign for a team when your kicker's number one.
No. Let's be honest, 17 is pretty good for a fucking kicker. Still.
Bright performance from Njoku. He's had a fantastic resurgence under Joe Flacco. You're happy about that. Swift with 15. Having to start two tight ends isn't great.
No.
Losing one of them makes it bad. If you're going to start two, a great chance to do it. I thought it was a good play. Just doesn't pay out when Hawkinson has to come off the field.
Agreed. Torn ACL, torn MCL. We'll see how he comes back from that.
Potential ramifications on the pimp keeper side of things for sure. The other matchup, therefore, Merci would have ended up beating Who's Your Daddy 125 to 120. A little bit closer a matchup. Would have been more exciting, but Justin Fields and Jahmyr Gibbs would have taken him to the win.
Yeah, Gibbs had a big game. Gibbs looked really good. All in all, that Detroit-Minnesota game was really fun to watch. The Lions almost lined, but somehow they made it out of there. So it was enough for Merci to win. And again, now he gets to play Billy for the number one pick. And I don't remember if Mercy's ever had the number one pick.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
We'd have to look back.
We'd have to ask Oxenfire.
They'll check it out at some point. Daddy with that late waiver/trade double dip with Nakua and Stafford, pacing the way. A nice day from George Kittle as well, and then a little bit flat the rest of the way. 120, a good enough number to win a lot of weeks. Not good enough this week.
And when Daddy posted the choral or whatever, because Kapapua or however you pronounce his name, remember he was, and Merci laughed at it. Ain't laughing now, are you?
Well, he kind of still is, because he ended up winning. So Merci moves on to play Poway next week. And in leg one of the Blue Balls, the only final matchup that started this week instead of next week. Young and Confused out to a massive lead over the Sin, 183 to 86.
183 to 86. And it looks like this is just over, right? Like, how am I going to score 100 more, whatever it is, 100 points more than, because it's a dual 2 week point combined kind of thing.
2 legs, 93.42 points to be exactly deep.
But then what happens?
Well, Amari Cooper last week scores 58 points. The lineup this week doesn't actually play. Turns out Andrew, I think, has gonorrhea or something. He's bedridden, whatever that happens to be. Not able to get Amari Cooper out of his lineup.
Sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better.
I was making a joke about it. I'm sorry. I feel bad too.
It's going to cost you the points, and it's going to cost you a fine, and it's going to cost you the highest points at that position of another player you play. So all of a sudden, we'll have to go back and look. I don't think that's the case. If you don't start a guy, you just lose the points. I think that's if on the IR. On the IR, we think we're gonna have to go back and double check that. Definitely, we'll double check that, because that's why I was saying that
might cost another
100 points
receiver
seemed insurmountable, and now all of a sudden, like, woo.
I don't know if the Sin has even scored enough to outscore 7 guys by 93
Probably.
points at some point, but
Probably.
you can't expect another 60 burger. Not a lot happened with the Sin. They were almost paced by their kicker as well. Justin Tucker might have ended up being the MVP. 23 points from Dak. Just not going to be enough. Almost. He only outscored his entire team. Only outscored Cooper by 28 points. Fantastic. One last note on Young and Fuse. 2 players, Jordan Love at 28 and the Cooper at 58. All the rest of his players were between 10 and 20 points, which is an interesting point. If you have some rounding errors,
I guess that if you have two huge players, it can win you a week.
it can. Transitioning, we like to bring up a little topic. Mike worked up a little information for us. We kind of alluded to earlier. This is the 9th finals appearance for the Avengers. They are in fact 107. I asked Darren this earlier. I'm going to pose it to you, and we're going to pause for a little bit. What team in the League of Gentlemen is second in finals appearances?
Nope.
I don't know what you guessed, but the answer is Chris Benner. 5 finals appearances. He is 2-3 in the finals. 3 teams. Can you guess them, Darren? What 3 teams have been in 3 finals?
I would say definitely the Pimps. I know.
Yeah.
And the Sin. I don't know the third.
It is the Titans.
Oh yeah, I should.
Pimps and the Titans. All 2-1 in their finals appearances. 2 teams now will be making their second appearance. The first, the Zorros, are 1-1.
Okay.
Windy City Scoregasms 1-0 so far in their previous championship appearance. This is their second. And then 2 active players and 3 former players, Daddy and Young, all made 1 appearance. But the Hammers, the Mondays, and Matt Seahawks also made finals. And the Merci Beaucoup, the only franchise never to have made it to.
Wow.
If you're scoring at home, Matt Seahawks was originally part of what is now the Fury franchise. So technically, the franchise has been in 6 finals. They are 2-4 in those matchups. Oddly enough, both the Hammers and the Mondays, formerly part of what is now the Windy City Scoregasms franchise. So technically, the Scoregasms franchise has been to 4 finals appearances. They are thus far undefeated. They are 3-0. So bodes well for the Scoregasms going in.
Good information, Mike. That's good stuff.
Yeah, good. Mike. Thanks for pointing that out to us. That is fantastic. And without any further ado, let's get into leg 2 of the Shit Bowl.
Leg 2 of the Shit Bowl.
Young and Confused, traveling to the Sin for the second matchup. They have a 93.42 point lead, so we're calling them a 93-point favorite.
Yeah, there's no way he can mess this up unless he plays a player who doesn't play, gets fined. I mean, there's no way.
I'm taking Sid in the money line. We're gonna be rich, baby. We're gonna be rich.
It's like betting on the Pistons.
Technically, this game is for 9th and 10th place, but the way we work our league, that is going to be the equivalent of the 5th and 6th picks in next year's draft. The 7th and 8th place game, a LOGJAM Bowl. Daddy traveling to the Pimps, and the Pimps are a 4-point favorite.
I mean, I guess we'll start picking because I'm also going to take the Sin in the money line or the
Sin in the points. Yes, that's the smart way. Right? You had alluded to that.
Yeah, I'll take Sin in the points. In this game, what is it? Pimps are actually favored.
4-point favorite heading into the game.
Yeah, I'll take the Pimps.
Okay.
I usually don't but I'll take the Pimps in this one.
I don't know what the rest of that roster is going to do, but Puka Nacua has been a thorn in my side.
Amen.
So I'm thinking maybe if I pick Puka Nacua and them to win, maybe do a little switcheroo dunkaroo. Cooper Kupp has this game. Daddy's going to win this one, baby.
I'm thinking if you gave me 100 tries, I wouldn't get his name right.
Puka Nacua. Shigazim Okonkwo.
Yeah. Blame your mom, Puka.
That game is for the 3rd and 4th picks in next year's draft. And for the 1st and 2nd overall picks in the draft, winner getting the 1st pick in next year's draft, possibly Marvin Harrison. I don't know. By the time it comes around, we'll see what that looks like. But for 5th and 6th place, the Poway Titans traveling to the Merci Beaucoup. Titans favored by 3 on the road.
I'm going to take the Poway Titans in this game. I think that, it's been unfortunate for him the way the season's gone out. I think there's going to be a little bit of justice here.
You think a little bit of poetic justice here?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that roster has been
Good movie, by the way.
consistent. I love that. Jonas
Good
excellent
movie.
right there. I think consistently been a score. It just didn't work out some weeks. I think the Poway lineup is going to win this one as well. I'm going there. That takes us to the third and fourth place games. Last week's losers out of the semifinals, playing for the 7th and 8th picks in the draft. The Zorros, a 15-point favorite, traveling to the Fury.
And what is it? What is the spread?
15. Zorros are a 15-point favorite.
So if we're picking against the spread, I will take the Zorros still. I'm still going to take the Zorros.
I can just see that Fury roster. He's shuffled a few
The
deck
Bengal
chairs.
roster?
The Bengal roster. I like Jake Browning. It's going to be a big week for UW, by the way. New Year's Day,
Yeah.
UW, Texas, in New Orleans is, one of the biggest games I remember in my lifetime. Feels bigger than the last time we played Alabama. Didn't feel like we had the roster going into that one, but I digress. I'm going to take the Fury because Jake Browning's going to have a big week.
Speaking of that, I'll go ahead and pick, and then I got to ask you a question. So
You pick the Zorros.
I'm going to pick the Zorros still then.
Okay.
But the question I'm going to ask you is, and you can't skirt out of this. You got to answer. So you have two choices. You can win the LOG this year. Take home the money, put your name on the trophy, bury Gary, so to speak, get all that shit taken care of. Or the Washington Huskies can become national championships.
Wow.
Pick one. You only get one.
Oh,
I'm just interested.
Man, there's
Just interested.
There is a time in my life where that would have been an easy UW question for me. This league means a lot to us now.
Yeah.
It is somewhat superfluous. It's a really random game we play based on a lot of luck, but we put a lot into it and a lot out of it. Man, I might think differently if it was one game, but in a semifinal like kind of thing, I feel like I could. If I tried to throw the juju that way, I think I would rather have the Avengers win this particular.
If I was in your shoes, I'd pick the same thing.
I mean, it means a lot. I'm not going to not root for the Dogs. I love the Dogs. It's going to be awesome. It would be cool.
Yeah.
It would be in a larger scale. It would probably have more impact on my life because it would impact others of my friends and
Sure.
future conversations on things. But in this space.
I get it. I'm just cheering for one of the two to happen. Because if neither of the two happens, we're gonna have to send like some health checks. We need some wellness checks to the Avalon Inn.
Speaking of wellness checks, the Avengers are traveling to the Scoregasm. The Scoregasms are a massive 31-point favorite. They have won 5 straight games. They were the highest score in each of the last 3 weeks of the regular season. Could have potentially been the highest score in the week they had a bye, although they did not submit a lineup. They won last year's matchup 129.64 to 127.22.
Yep. That was close too. There was been one catch from Diggs, plus the yardage for Allen, and who was the other? It was a tight end, right?
Yeah. Dawson Knox scoring a touchdown and getting like 2 catches, maybe like 9
That
points.
was a great finals.
Yeah.
And again, remember to
download the DVD. Tells the whole story.
Yeah.
Do that.
yeah.
I think you can tell by my lead up to that. I don't think there's any way this Avengers team matches up. Obviously, I'm hopeful for it, but congratulations, Gary. I'm taking these Scoregasms to repeat as champions of the LOGJAM. Darren, who you got?
Well, I know we talked about this prior to the lights being on, but Gary has the number 1, 2, and 3 running backs.
Depending on who you talk about predictions, I saw where you have the top 3 running backs predicted for the week, the number 1 and the number 11 or 12 wide receiver, the number 5 quarterback, the number 8 tight end, where I think I have 7 and maybe like 3 at quarterback. So the only 2 advantages on the roster were at those 2 positions. I'm starting like 19 and 20 at running back.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely numbers wise stacked against you, but being that we are playing with this it started 2 years ago where we were all putting in a little extra money. I think it's $20 a man extra each year, and whoever wins back-to-back champion, the first person to do that, which was Gary's fucking idea. I'm going to cheer against Gary this week for that reason. Not because, Gary, I don't hope you win a championship, or it's not about this championship. It's not about this particular championship. It's about the fact that you can win back-to-back and take the pot. And I still want to play for that a little bit. So I'm going to be cheering against the Scoregasms this week. I'm going to be definitely an Avalon Avenger fan, even stacked against you. Let's go Avalon.
Let's go
I'll take the
Avalon. Let's go Avalon. Wow, it's going to be a big week. Gary, good luck, buddy. I hope it's for the best. I hope no one dies this year. That would be cool.
Yeah.
And everybody gets through safe and healthy and happy. And Happy New Year to you guys. We won't see you again until after the new year.
Yeah, we'll see you in 2024. Again, have a great weekend. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. Celebrate the New Year's the right way. And good luck to everybody in 2024, especially the Pips.
Go Dogs. Go Avengers.
All right, guys.